How important is physical fitness for men over 40 when it comes to dating success? Justin looks like you could throw me across the fucking room. I'm assuming all three of you go to the gym fairly regularly.
I mean, now I
Yeah.
do. I mean, I can say this because this has been a more recent development.
I
Because
know.
during COVID,
Yeah.
I was, COVID fucked us all up. I had a COVID girlfriend and everything like that. I reached 201 pounds, so I was technically morbidly obese, and I'm 5'5", right?
Oh, ouch.
So
Goddamn.
there was definitely an effect on, and I didn't realize it, right? Because the thing is, like me gaming while I was fat had nothing. Like I could still get hot girls while I was fat, right? But there was a physical and emotional and mental kind of toll to that I didn't realize until I spent the last 2 years just cutting and like, to the point where I lost 60 pounds and actually kind of have like some abs now. And basically like mental clarity and acumen, like I can think faster, I don't have as much brain fog. My back hurts a lot less,
Mm.
right? So that helps a lot. um but most importantly is like I last longer in bed. That definitely helps. And while again I'm not conventionally attractive, but I don't use my fitness or muscles to gain attraction because it doesn't really help when I'm talking to the girl. But what has helped is going into the bedroom. I remember previously when I was fat, I would take off my shirt, like got man boobs and everything like that. And the girl's interest level, I could just see it just die. And I lost her, right? She just went home. But now, like, I take off my shirt, she's turned on. So in the bedroom, it definitely helps. So while I would say being fit is way, beneficial, it is not technically a necessity to get girls to make them attracted to you.
No.
Should you be fit? Obviously, but I'm living proof. Like I can get girls whether I'm short, thin, or fat, right? But definitely don't take this as me saying don't go to the gym and don't pay attention to your diet and nutrition. Definitely do, because when you get older, our testosterone starts to get lower. Like I had my testosterone tested and I was like below average, but also like my doctor thought it was because I'd been cutting for so long that it had lowered my testosterone. So working on getting that back up. So, it definitely helps for sure.
Yeah. I would say never do it for women ever. Like if you're lifting for attraction, you're doing it wrong. Like that's the worst. Anything. If you're making money, if you're changing a wardrobe, if you're getting a watch, you're getting a car, you're getting a job, you're doing any of it for the sake of getting attention, you're acting feminine. That's it. I don't care how you look. I don't care if it's a Bugatti. I don't care if you're ripped from head to toe. If you've done it for the sake of getting female attention, you're becoming feminine. That said, I think that the best thing for it is, or the best thing that comes of it is your mind. I think that the benefits coming from the clarity of thought, putting yourself through strain and dealing with the psychological and emotional aspects that go through putting your body through that kind of regular painful experiences, it does tremendous things to your mind, and it just makes you just better adapted for just strains of life. I think I don't think there's any downside to exercising, and I would just add that if you can put in some kind of uh, contact sport, like any kind of contact sport where like just men getting together and like bashing their bodies together, whether it's football, whether it's Greco-Roman wrestling, whether it's BJJ, whether it's Muay Thai, any of that is really good for you because we spend a lot of time in isolation. Like we don't spend a lot of time at all, like just touching other people. And there's some sort of like emotional thing about someone putting their hands on you and you having to deal with it and stay calm and rational. And it just, I don't know, it's just something, some kind of like clarity comes over you when you regularly go into a situation willfully with someone trying to knock your block off. I mean, in sparring situations, it's controlled, but still, in Muay Thai, when they're kicking your leg, they're really trying to do some degree of harm to you. And do that over and over, you get really conditioned to these sort of things. And the fear goes down, the calmness goes up, and that's really what it's all about. It's all about being able to be in any situation and you remain calm. And Michael, I know you were in the military. You're probably quite familiar with that sort of thinking. Like you just get used to it. And when you're centered, you're calm, you're peaceful. Nothing can really throw you off your square, especially some woman who's got some kind of attitude and doing some sort of silly shit test.
Yeah. Because I live here and I'm surrounded by a lot of women because of the events, I tend to attract women who are also attracted to women. So I ended up dating a lot of bisexual women. And one of the things I found is I got in pretty good shape probably after my 42nd birthday. My testosterone levels were low. I got on TRT. And then in addition, I changed my diet and exercise routine. And I just remember the understanding when my girlfriend wanted to bring another girl home, how much easier it was when her man was in good physical shape. And then she would like brag about me or whatever, because a lot of times in those situations, it's the girl who's doing a lot of work, a lot of the work, a lot of the heavy lifting. So when that happened and I was in good shape and she'd be like, hey, come home with me and my man, I think that was a really, really big benefit. If that's the lifestyle you're looking for, I think that that's helpful. Like you said before, I don't lift for women. I lift because in part, and also, I lifted for a long time. I think I got too heavy. I was about in the 230s, and I'm trying to get down to like 205 for the same reason that JT was talking about. I'm 47. My back and my knees, just playing paintball just a little while ago, it's way easier when I'm lighter. So your body fat percentage is you lifting weights and your muscularity is one thing, but your body fat percentage and how much weight you carry around is another thing. It's just much easier. And then another thing JT said, if you're in bed with two women, you want to go longer. A great way to do that is to have better cardio conditioning. And I also recommend cold plunges. Those are also really, really good for that as well.
Yeah, I would also say, like, thanks for bringing it up, Michael. But the TRT, like, guys, if you're 40, if shit these days, if you're over 35, you need to be getting a full panel done. And likely because of sedentary lifestyles, sitting in front of screens all day long, not getting sunlight, not getting movement, and drinking out of plastic bottles and all kinds of various
Yeah.
inputs, your T's are very, very affected, along with all the other hormones, because it's like an internet connected system. I've been on TRT for 15 years, and it's great. It's absolutely amazing, and it just kills me that things like alcohol is legal,
Yeah.
yet so many people die from cirrhosis to drunk driving to hitting other people with their cars to getting into brawl fights, all sorts of violence, both ending in death and not ending in death due to alcohol. And something like testosterone, which is available in our body, is considered illegal. It's a controlled
Just,
substance, and I'll go to
just,
prison if I
yeah.
have my vial. You know what I'm
Consider,
saying? It's like,
consider this. I talked to a doctor about this recently. Elon Musk and Oprah Winfrey have no problem talking about their use of Ozempic, but Mike O'Hearn and The Rock won't admit they're on testosterone. We're still at that point where it's like people have no problem talking about their SSRIs or their beta blockers or whatever, but there's this stigma about taking testosterone that people still have. And I'm going to tell you right
Unless you're
now,
a 14-year-old kid who's transgender. Oh yeah,
yeah,
all for
then
that,
it's
you
oh
totally
yeah,
know.
fine. Yeah,
then it's perfectly fine.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
so weird.
I'll tell you something right now. TRT is so effective that I
Yeah.
think it's going to be illegal in the next decade or two. I think you're going to see progressives pushing to make it illegal because what it's doing is it's making masculine, powerful men masculine further or more powerful, more dominant later on in life. I'm 47. I'm supposed to slow down. I'm not supposed, dude. I've been on like 4 dates this week. I've gone to like 3 concerts. I'm operating 2 businesses and I just play paintball. I'm supposed to slow down. I'm supposed to be fat. I'm supposed to have lower testosterone. I'm supposed to have less ambition. I'm supposed to have be less
Docile.
engaging. But yeah, but instead the opposite has happened, and now I act like I did when I was 19. Okay, and
Mhm.
I think because of that, because testosterone, and not just that, all the other peptides, BPC 157, TB 500, ipamorelin, tesamorelin,
Have you tried
IGF-1,
141?
which is that
I think it's called P141.
P140. I think
Oh yeah,
somebody
it's
talked
a
about that.
peptide. This is
Yeah,
interesting. So for you guys, just a sidestep, it's a
yeah,
peptide. So it's a research chemical that's not illegal. Peptides are not illegal for you guys.
yes,
Just wondering. 141 is an arousal chemical, right? And what it does is it's not like Cialis or anything those, which don't do anything for arousal, right? It's just for blood flow. right? So it won't make you horny, right? It just makes you hard. Um, P141, or no, or is it BP141? I can't remember, but it is 141. I can't remember the letters in front of it. This accesses the arousal center in the brain, and it literally will make the glands and the clitoris like want to be touched. Like I don't know if you guys like did some sort of like psychotropic drugs or even like cocaine or anything like that, where you get this urge to stretch and flex your muscles. That feeling is in the glands and in the clitoris. Like it wants to be touched and massaged and moved. And like I've given this to people, and they're literally like can't stop squeezing their legs together.
Interesting.
Like, and it lasts for hours, hours
Yeah,
on
yeah.
end.
Yeah, the thing I've seen about peptides is, I've tried six different ones of them, and every one of them works.
Mhm. Oh
I'm
yeah.
afraid that this shit is so effective because it's not like, just imagine I take TRT, and I lose a bunch of body fat. Now I don't need your erectile dysfunction medication anymore. What does that do to Big Pharma? Now, Big Food, I don't eat your shitty food anymore. Now I don't have your anti-anxiety medication anymore. I've seen several people get off of Ritalin and get off of Adderall because they got on testosterone, because testosterone helps you focus. So now I don't need your Adderall anymore. Now I don't need your fucking eating medication. Now I don't need your Zoloft or your Lexapro. Like, testosterone destroys big pharma. And that's the reason why I said this before. I could see in the next decade it being extremely heavily controlled and almost made illegal.
Also would be a threat to government, right?
Oh,
Mhm.
so let me just clarify. It's called PT141,
Okay.
and
Interesting.
it works by activating the melanocortin
Yeah.
receptors in the brain, which is involved in sexual arousal.
Yeah.
So just so for anyone who's interested. But
I
yeah,
don't know a
can't
damn thing
disagree
about
at
this
all on
stuff.
any of that. Yeah, well,
Interesting
it's
though.
fine. It's safe. I just use Cialis for what it was originally intended for, which was just to optimize blood flow in your heart. That's all it was really intended for. They made a happy accident. They're like, wait a second, it helps dudes with boners too. And so they just started marketing that because sex sells much more than heart medication, right?
Yeah.
So like I use that with pre-workout. I use, it's once a day. And it's just, there's really not a downside to it.
Yeah.
Good for the pump.
Yeah.
One question that my clients get a lot, and I have my own answer, is when girls ask them how old they are. Like, what do you guys tell your guys to reply with?
The truth, unless they're like in their early 20s, then they lie and say you're older. Dude, being older, I've just never seen this being an issue. The issue is being fat and irrelevant. It's not being older. That's never the problem. I tell them to tell the truth, or I have one client who's 24 years old, and he's like, dude, as soon as I tell girls I'm 24, they lose interest because they want someone older. So that's what I say, is just tell the truth.
By the way, GT, first time I invited you onto a panel, I noticed when I would search her name, he was chubbier before. So I get to see photos and a few videos, on
The before and
Instagram, whatever.
afters.
And they were like severely different. It's like, goddamn, like JT back in, I don't know, the 2010s or something. Pretty chubby. Yeah, I never met you in person. And then once you were on the panel and I could see your very recent content, you were kind of at the end of your journey or, you know, got to the level you wanted to be. And it was truly fascinating. It was like a complete fucking transformation. Totally fucking different. But
Well,
yeah,
I've
huge
been in the
respect for
public
that.
eye for almost, I guess, 20 years. So starting off, I believed in like more plates, more dates. So getting into the game, I surfed, I did beach volleyball, so I was in pretty good shape. And then I got into pickup and I realized that, being fit didn't necessarily help. It was like actual, like the part of going up to girls talking. And so I stopped working out. And so through the process of just being in the public eye, if you go back in the way archive, you can see like, the various parts of me at different stages, but also like not only weight wise, but also like fashion. Like I continue to evolve and change and, not remaining static. But thank you.